From a policing perspective, we only have one goal, and that's the public safety, and it's to ensure that that torch reaches its eventual goal at the grounds of the ledge. And we made a commitment early on that while I can't be responsible for what happens in other parts of Canada, I can certainly take some responsibility for what happens in Victoria. And to allow, this is probably one of the biggest events in our history when you talk about the preparation and the efforts of the officers involved. And I was very proud of the conduct of the members, the restraint that was shown in the face of some considerable protest activity. And there were tons of legitimate, solid protesters who had a point of view, and we owe it to them to give them a chance to exercise their democratic rights, which we did do. And there were some small fringe groups that got carried away, and we also, in my view, showed considerable restraint in allowing them to do what they have to do. But the event went well. This is one of those things where a non-event is a good event. Nothing really happened in terms of the policing other than the fact we did our job. One of the things we're looking at right now, we, along with many members of the public, are upset that the torch had to be diverted. There was one or two spots where it missed some people who sat there and waited for some time for the torch to go by. And so we were trying to think of, is there some way we can not make it up to them, but is there something we could do to fill that void? And we're still thinking about that. We haven't decided what we're going to do, but I think we'll look at something down the road. And I mean, it bypassed the Lieutenant Governor's house too, which was upsetting to us. I thought that was important and very symbolic that he get a chance to be a part of this, and that just didn't happen. And so part of me is somewhat upset at the people that caused that. So anyway, if any of you have questions, I just thought it was important to support Grant today and ask and see if any of you had questions of me. If not, I've got a ferry to catch. So
we were asked, or it was been suggested that plainclothes officers infiltrated the group and were in the protest crowd. Is there any truth to that allegation?
Yeah, I don't know, to tell you the truth. I can tell you one thing, that I think infiltrate is slightly a little on the strong side. Any large event on this kind of scale will require whatever operations it takes to keep this safe. If I would be surprised if there was intelligence showing that certain members of this radical fringe that showed up here that had evil in their hearts were not subject of specific police attention. I would be surprised if that was not the case. So I would have absolutely no problem with having special attention given to any of these groups who voiced or the intelligence showed that they were up to no good. These are I don't particularly like this phrase, these are the usual suspects. It's the same crowd you see more. I recognize the saxophone player, recognized me from Vancouver and came over and said hello, and he used to play the saxophone outside the office on Hornby and disrupt traffic there. But I don't think he understood the effect of playing the saxophone. He was like the Pied Piper for a while there. But I recognize some of them. Some of them came up and said hello to me during the event. So I think the majority of them weren't from Victoria. And these weren't local citizens expressing their concerns. There was a certain organizational structure to some of these groups. It's the same crowd we deal with, protest after protest. They do this. They have no jobs. This is what they do for a living, and they pay to disrupt. The stuff that was being chanted and being yelled and the obscenities directed at the stage and to the torch runners had nothing to do with the Olympics. Not the ones I heard. Everything except. So it's a chance for everybody to talk about everything. So, but the issue for us is the lawfulness of wearing, having your face hidden, covered. That's the issue for us. So I'm not sure. This may not withstand a challenge from the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Who knows? But we have some pretty smart lawyers, so we think this is worthy to look at. I don't think that's right to allow people to hide behind anonymity. Now, guaranteed, if you're arrested with an object that's of danger and you're taken into custody, the mask is removed and you'll be identified. But it allows a certain anonymity for the people to group and meet and make their plans, and we have concerns about that.
I had a question.
Sure, one more and then I've got to go.
So you're saying that the majority of the protesters are not from Victoria?
I'm not sure. I think, sorry?
There was a small amount, approximately about 50 that did come from Vancouver.
Oh, there you go.
The majority
Okay.
were from Victoria.
Okay, there you go. So the majority were from here. About 50 came over. I know there was a group that came over on the ferry in the morning.
Okay.
So I stand corrected, a lot of them are Victoria-based.
And I also wonder, when you say they have no jobs, is that the majority as well?
No, the small group that I know from Vancouver, they're unemployed. Okay, thanks for